Hi, Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey here, and I'm going to talk about homemade beef jerky today. Okay, so the way we make beef jerky around here is we start with a brisket. You can use different cuts of meat and poultry, whatever you like, but this is a beef brisket, and there's a sharpening steel and a big knife. And there's my lovely mate taking that that brisket, and trimming it a bit of some fat. And gee, I wonder who might get that fat. Who is hopeful for getting some fat? That would be Jack. And the way we do it, he portions it, cuts the brisket into strips and kind of the appropriate lengths, straightforward. And, this might seem like a lot of work. It's really not. But beef jerky is expensive. You price it out, it's like $16 a pound or something like that. You can get a really good steak in a restaurant for $16. These are the ingredients that I use for the marinade. Use whatever you like. I pulled this off the internet. The one thing you want to do is make sure we use a base of soy sauce, that it is not full of sugar. And I'm really excited to put sound effects in here. So soy sauce and liquid smoke and garlic and onion and a little vinegar. Make up a marinade, and I put it in a mason jar. And then just put in the strips of the brisket, the portioned brisket. And I pack them in there fairly tight. I find this is the easiest way to do it. Later on, you'll see that I'm going to pack it in and then use a food saver to kind of seal it up and it pulls. There's actually a marinade setting on the food saver with the jar lid attachment. And it pulls the marinade up through the meat, and that way you don't have to marinate it for days or anything like that. It's just a few hours. I usually do it overnight, stick it in the fridge, put it in there pretty full, and yes, isn't that nice? And so the way of making beef jerky or jerky, you can make turkey jerky if you want, is you marinate it. And I happen to be using a food saver and a marinade attachment, and I have a dehydrator. But let's face it, cowboys made jerky. You don't need anything fancy. You want some seasoning. You can make a dry jerky rather than marinate it in liquid. We do this. And you just need to have a dry, low heat in order to cook it. But I'm going to show you how we do it. So this is after it's marinated. We have an Excalibur dehydrator, and it gives you a little thing there right on the top. It says jerky, put to about 145 to 155 degrees. So I set it at that, and it makes it's a fairly noisy thing, I will say. So I put it in there. These are the trays that are from the Excalibur, and you just put the slices of meat or turkey or poultry or whatever it is that you are wanting to dehydrate. We've also used this to dehydrate mushrooms and onions, and back before we were keto, I dehydrated other things as well, but now it's mostly mushrooms, onions, and jerky. And I'm holding a camera and trying to do this, so sorry for any awkwardness. Laid out there, nothing fancy. You don't have to make sure that they're 6 inches apart or anything. And I do have, when I put this into the dehydrator, you'll see that I have some parchment paper on the bottom because there's little dripsies. And this dehydrator has 5 trays. I think you can get them up to 9 trays for the Excalibur, maybe even more. And some people love their other brands. There's the Nesco dehydrator, which it looks like kind of like a spaceship. It's a big cylinder. Again, you don't need a dehydrator. If you have an oven and you can set it to about 150 degrees, put it in there. You just want a low, dry heat. So take off the lid, and you'll see me awkwardly putting in the trays. Again, camera in one hand and trays in the other. I I put them in, and as far as how long it takes, I test them. My husband likes them kind of chewy, and actually quite chewy. And so I test them, and if they're kind of pliable but not brittle, that's when I take them out. And this is the finished product as far as that goes. They are kind of weirdly shaped, and some of them have more fat on them than others, and this is just the way we like it. Again, you can find any combination of marinade that you like. If you're going to be following the ketogenic protocol, you do want to lay off the sugars. A lot of marinades and a lot of store-bought jerky, it has sugar in it, in the marinade. So you want to be careful of that. Naturally brewed soy sauce is low in carbs. I take them, put them in clean mason jars for later use, and put the lids on, and there you can see as they are in all their glory. And we use them as he eats them. I eat less of this than he does. I don't love the chewiness of them, but he does, so good for him. And it's a lot less than $16 a pound, I'll tell you that. Thanks for watching. Bye.